This evening, the Cleveland Indians in town to start a three-game series. The month of September kicks off here tonight, and Edwin Jackson ready to go to work. Here's the first pitch of the ball game to Grady Sizemore. It's a strike 0-1.
First pitch at 7:06 p.m.
Beautiful night here in the Motor City tonight. Sizemore batting .247 this season with 18 homers. Jackson's 0-1 pitch. Just missed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, if you're the Cleveland Indians, you know one thing is for certain. And Jackson's going to attack you with a lot of fastballs early, and they will be firm in the mid-90s.
Wave and a miss out in front of the off-speed pitch there, 1-2.
Gerald Laird did tell me before the game that the last couple of starts he noticed that Edwin had been too fastball happy in the very first inning. Therefore, he was going to call for the changeup and the slider very early in this game to get Jackson to mix it up a little bit more than he had in his previous few starts.
Edwin coming in tonight with 10 victories, among the best in ERA, it seems like, since the start of the season. He has been top 10, top 5 all year long. Having a marvelous year in his first season in a Tigers uniform. The 1-2 sails outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Grady Sizemore.
That last pitch was a slider, but you could see that Edwin overthrew it, therefore did not get on top. Did not have the same tilt as he got with the second strike that he threw.
Now the 2-2, and it's popped up foul, heading back to the seats. 70 degrees our game time temperature tonight. We've had cool temperatures here in the Motor City recently. It's supposed to warm up next week. So we see some of the players here tonight. In fact, a good many of them wearing the sleeves, including Sizemore and Edwin Jackson. Swing and a miss. He got him a chase, and Sizemore is gone, 1 away.
You don't have a lot of time to make up your mind whether it's a ball or a strike when you're going up against Jackson, because the velocity is anywhere from 95 to 97. Therefore, you will see a few guys chase that fastball up and out of the strike zone.
Here is Asdrubal Cabrera batting in the 2 spot. He's hit safely in his last 3 for the Indians. Jackson, by the way, has reached a career high in strikeouts, 132 now with his strikeout of Sizemore. He struck out 127 last year with the Tampa Bay Rays. That was his previous high. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cabrera. Asdrubal had been playing second base when he originally was picked up by the Cleveland Indians, but he's playing short these days. Peralta has moved to third. The 1-1 is outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Cabrera probably has been their most consistent hitter this year from start to the point we're at right now. He comes in .315 batting average with over 130 base hits, and he was sizzling in the month of August.
Well, he's had 4 separate 4-hit games this year for Cleveland. Spent a little bit of time on the disabled list with a bad shoulder. Laird with the 2-2 signs. Looks like a fastball. And here it is. Missed it way high, overthrew it off the glove of Laird to the backstop, 3-2. These Indians come in tonight at 58-72, and we talked about all of the changes they have undergone in their roster this year, from being one of the favorites at the beginning of the season to trading away a good many of their big name players. 3-2 pitch is hammered to right field, base hit, maybe more. Ordonez over there to cut it off. Cabrera trying for 2, and he will get there with a sliding double. 1 on, 1 out. Seems like the Indians, since the All-Star break, have been playing loosey-goosey.
That they have. They pretty much have a new team with all the pieces that they've traded away. They've got some new arms. They've got position players. It's really a new team.
Best record within the division since the All-Star break, so that has to feel pretty good for Eric Wedge.
Seems like they always play their best baseball the second half of the season.
Yeah, regardless of whether or not they're in the pennant race or not. Certainly not this year, but they have been a second half team. Here is Shin-Soo Choo. Chance to drive in a run here early on against Jackson. And he grounds one right back up the middle into center field. Here comes Cabrera rounding third. They're going to score him. Shin-Soo Choo with a solid single to center, and Cleveland has a 1-0 lead.
And Jackson probably should have pitched a little bit more carefully to Choo, who already had 71 driven in this year with the base open and one out. And Peralta coming up, who hits into a ton of double plays. Now you have to make sure if you give up a base hit there to Choo, it's on your pitch.
Choo with RBI 72 on the year. Early lead for Cleveland. That'll bring up Johnny Peralta. Peralta at 276 is knocked in 69. Good pick down there at first base by Cabrera. That thing was thrown right in the dirt.
By now, you know teams will run when Jackson is on the mound. The last time he was on the mound, the Angels stole 5 bases, and Laird was catching that day.
So for a guy that doesn't have a great pickoff move and maybe is a little bit more timely to the plate, what can he do to hold a runner close?
Well, he can do a little bit of what Galarraga does, and that's simply hold the ball while you're on the mound, step off, and see if you can disrupt the timing of the base runner, and so that he can't guess when you're going to deliver the ball to home plate. You have to give him different looks if you're not very quick at getting the ball to home.
Peralta this year has knocked into 16 double plays, which is the most on this Cleveland team.
Not many power pitchers have great moves that are right-handed. Verlander is an exception to the rule. Zach Greinke, also of the Kansas City Royals, has a very good move for a right-handed power pitcher.
Inside and high. Now it goes 3-0 on Johnny Peralta. Waiting on deck is Valbuena. Another throw back and back in safely. Shin-Soo Choo. You can steal a base on you, 18 for the year. Choo's been caught only twice. The 3-0. Jackson's last start was a loss against the Angels on the recent road trip. Gave up 4 runs in 6 1/3. The Tigers managed only 2 runs in that game and lost 4-2. High fly ball right field. Maglio Ordonez backpedaling. And there are 2 gone. Choo retreating to first base. That'll bring up Luis Valbuena.
Number 1, Luis Valbuena.
Valbuena at 242. He was in Columbus early part of the season, called up in early May for Cleveland. Sits safely in 11 of his last 14, batting in the 5-hole tonight for Eric Wedge. There's a strike called, 0-1. Indians got a 1-out double from Cabrera, then Choo singled him home to make it 1-0 Cleveland. Slap foul back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, these Indians are featuring a couple of guys in their lineup tonight in Matt Laporta and Michael Brantley. Brantley, in fact, making his big league debut that perhaps represent the future, getting his look, or as much of a look as their young players as they can in the month of September.
Son of Mickey Brantley.
Yeah.
Who used to be the hitting coach for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Runner going and a swing and a miss to strike him out, and the side retired. Second strikeout for Jackson. They get a run and leave a man. We'll go to the bottom of the first. 1-0 Cleveland. Tigers starting lineup presented by Big Boy tonight. It'll be Curtis Granderson leading it off in center, followed by Placido Polanco. Here's the big day that Guillen had yesterday. He's in left field. Miguel Cabrera cleaning up. Maglio is out in right. Aubrey Huff, the DH. Your bottom three tonight is Inge, Laird, and Everett for the Tigers. Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Carlos Carrasco of the Indians. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, no doubt Carlos will be nervous out there making his first major league start, and he came over just a month ago or so from the Philadelphia Phillies in that Cliff Lee deal. So I know the Tribe are hoping that he pitches as well as Cliff Lee has pitched for his new club.
So Granderson leads it off. And Carrasco pours in a fastball at 92, strike one. Randy hitting .255 with 25 home runs this year. And he takes it low and inside 1-1.
The Tigers were able to watch a little video on Carrasco before the game, but their best scouting report on the young rookie right-hander may have come from the kids that were in Toledo.
Agreed.
Carrasco had a couple of starts against the Toledo Mud Hens. Therefore, the kids that had just gotten called up were giving scouting reports to the players that are in the ball game tonight.
Now the 1-2. You can always tell when the Tigers are facing someone they haven't seen before. The video they watch before the game is very grainy and dark because it's taken from a minor league game.
Right.
It's not as nifty as the big league stuff. 3-2. Mr. Carrasco goes 6'3", 215. He is a native of Venezuela and only 22 years old. Foul back out of play.
Yeah, the scouting report on the youngsters, he's got a fastball anywhere from 91 to 94 miles an hour. Throws a cut slider, which is not as big as a traditional slider, but it's almost like a cut fastball. And they say he has an exceptional changeup and is not afraid to throw that pitch at all.
3-2 pitch on the way is ripped down the right field line. Fair ball. This goes to the corner, and Granderson is off to the races. Laporta digs it up. Grandy going to try for three. Here comes the relay. He is out at third base.
Oh, he might have got that foot in there.
Granderson cut down on a close play. Valbuena with the relay from second base and a perfect throw to third.
And Granderson gets a 3-2 fastball and rifles the ball down into the corner. As soon as he gets to first base, he takes a look to see what Gene Lamont wants him to do. Lamont was down the left field line to make sure that Granderson can see him. Granderson stumbled for a moment, but I don't think that was the difference in him being safe and out. And it looked like he may have got his foot in there ahead of the tag on the right knee. But they did not argue at all.
So here's Polanco with the bases empty and a break for Carrasco. Polanco at 271. Had only 3 hits in the series against Tampa, but one of them was huge. The home run on Sunday, the game winner. Well, we've seen a good, lively fastball from Carrasco, 92, 93. Also, apparently possesses rather a pretty good changeup.
That's the scouting report on him.
1-1. Hammered left field, hit well. Brantley on the move, turns and it's gone. Polanco flexing his muscles on this homestand. That's another home run, his 9th of the year.
Carrasco is going to find out very quickly that some of those fastballs you are able to throw by minor league hitters, you can't throw by good fastball hitters. Polanco does not strike out very often. He chokes up. Does not look to hit home runs, simply look to put the ball in play. That's a four-seam fastball right down the middle, and Polanco plays long ball. That replay courtesy always of Lincoln Murphy.
Just like that, we're tied at 1. Number 9 for Polanco, RBI 59. Here's Carlos Guillen. Carlos sends one high in the air, deep into right. Laporta back to the track, to the wall, and that ball is gone. A home run. Back-to-back homers on consecutive pitches for the Tigers. had a huge day yesterday and not a bad start tonight.
This fastball down and in, right in the wheelhouse of Carlos Guillen. And Guillen, when he hit it, he knew it was gone. As a hitter, when you hit a few of those, you know the sound that it makes off your bat. It's a good effort there by Laporta, but not able to climb up high enough to make a play.
Some thunder for the Tigers here in the first inning. Right to that first row in right field, and almost a souvenir for a Tigers fan. Looked like it bounced out. The red-hot Carlos Guillen. Leland said before the game he hopes that yesterday was a signal that he's starting to heat up. And apparently it was. Cabrera rips one to center field. That's a base hit.
Well, welcome to the big leagues, young man. Carrasco is probably figuring out, what in the world do I have to throw up here to get somebody to swing and miss. Carl Willis, pitching coach, going to trot out and calm him down a little bit. But Granderson hit a fastball. Polanco hit a fastball. Guillen crushed a fastball, and then he throws first pitch breaking ball to Cabrera, and he gets a base hit.
4 batters into Carrasco's big league career. He has given up a double, 2 homers, and a single. And had Granderson not been thrown out at third, Tigers had a huge inning going. As it stands, they've scored twice. Carl Willis finishes up his chat.
Well, here's the last 3 swings, starting with Polanco, fastball right down the middle, sitting on a tee. And then you get Carlos Guillen right in his wheelhouse. And then Cabrera loves to swing at the first pitch. It really doesn't matter what it is. And it gets a breaking ball that's up and hits a solid single right through the box.
Here's Maglio. Is he swinging on the first pitch? He's taking inside 1-0.
Well, we heard the kid had a good changeup. He's going to have to use a few of those changeups here in the first inning, or at least throw some breaking balls in fastball counts.
Wave and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike.
This is all new for Kelly Shoppach as well. Shoppach has not caught this youngster before. He came over from the Philadelphia Phillies and was just recalled today. So if you're Shoppach, yes, you've heard what he can do, and you've probably talked to him, and you have a game plan against the Tigers, but the young kid still has to execute that game plan.
There's the hook, and it misses low, 2-1. Well, and you got to believe that Carrasco, obviously making his big league debut, is probably not going to shake Shoppach off too much.
And nerves are a big part of major league debut.
Maglio trying to hold up with a half-hearted swing there. 2-2.
It's a good pitch, though, and a good call by Shoppach. 2 balls, 1 strike, something other than the fastball. And that thing had a lot of tilt to it.
Two pitch. Fouled away. Well, these Indians have certainly restructured their roster. There's no question about it. We talk about some of the big pieces they've traded away. How about these names?
And they've got some quality big leaguers in return, along with lots of prospects.
Cliff Lee and Victor Martinez being the top 2 they traded away on that list. Bounce foul. Maglio does a little dance in the batter's box.
I mean, is Cleveland going to be like the Montreal Expos and the Florida Marlins? Whenever their big boys get to that year of free agency, they simply move them, because it's a shame that they've had to lose Sabathia, Lee, and Victor Martinez. Those are impact players that you can play a decade with and be good.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about core players for your organization. Well, you hope not. And I think this Cleveland-Detroit series can become a very, very good rivalry, where both teams are playing near the top of the division. Seems like that hasn't been the case all too often. Again, the 2-2. 5 straight back. So Ordonez, who was 2 for 8 in the series against the Tampa Bay Rays, Trying to keep it going here. The offensive onslaught here in the first inning. 4 straight hits. Cabrera is aboard at first base with 1 out. And the runner goes. And it misses inside. Double clutch throw to center. Cabrera not going anywhere though. Stolen base.
It's a good call by Jim. Jim anticipating that Maglio would get a breaking ball after a couple of fastballs in a row, and he got a breaking ball. And Shopik could not find the handle on it.
You surprised he threw it anyway?
I am, after that long a length of time at holding the baseball.
And he almost picked up a throwing error on top of a stolen base. This will be the 9th pitch in this at bat to Ordonez. Driven in the air toward right field, slicing. And that'll be foul and back amongst them. 3-2. Ordonez right now sitting on 39 RBIs.
And well, if you're Carrasco, you knew and you know you've grown up watching Maglio and Cabrera have great big league careers. And now you're facing a couple of guys that are from your native Venezuela.
Again, the 3-2. And he lost it, ball 4. So I had a walk to the first big league inning of Carlos Carrasco.
That was a terrific at bat by Maglio Ordonez. Really good at bat.
It'll bring up Aubrey Huff with 2 men on.
We may see Carrasco bust out that changeup for the first time here in the first inning that we've heard so much about against the left-hander.
Well, Leland said the reason he batted Huff 6th instead of 5th was for that very reason. He has a good changeup and expects him to throw it a lot to Huff. And there is strike 1. Aubrey batting .241, was 1 for 10 in the Tampa series.
Aubrey was out taking some early batting practice this afternoon with Lloyd McClendon. Trying to get it together, trying to figure out some things. And Lloyd said he really is not doing a whole lot with Huff. Huff has been in the big leagues for 10 years, Lloyd said, and there's nothing that I can say in the last month of the season that could really change what he has already done. He's had a lot of success, and Lloyd really doesn't want to mess with that.
25th pitch coming up, and it's hit back up the middle into center field, base hit. Cabrera rounding third. He's going to score. Well, maybe that's a start for Aubrey Huff. Boy, did he need that.
Lloyd also said that that's the one thing that he'd like to see Huff do a little bit more of, and that's hitting the ball right back up the middle. Since he has put on a Tigers uniform, he has been pull happy and has come up empty on several occasions, but this is a really good at-bat, and this is exactly what he was doing during early BP today, hitting the ball right back up the middle.
Cabrera almost made a nice diving play on that ball.
Yeah, even though he was playing him to pull up the middle, shading him towards second base, he almost knocked it down.
74th run driven in. Now Edwin Jackson has gone from a 1-0 deficit to a 3-1 lead. Here's Brandon Inge.
So apparently the scouting report that the young boys from Toledo gave to the guys in the lineup today was dead on.
Perfect, as a matter of fact. The Tigers had 3 runs on 5 hits. And Carrasco has yet to record a conventional out. The only guy he got was Granderson. Trying to stretch a double into a triple, and it appeared that he might have even been safe.
Did Aubrey Huff change where he's wearing his pants today, or is that something that I'm just noticing tonight?
No, I think it is today.
I guess he did that to change his luck. It worked.
Baseball players and superstition, boy, they go hand in hand. Inside is Inge buckles out of the way. We're talking about Aubrey Huff, and really there's not a whole lot Lloyd can do. I suppose for a guy that's been in the big leagues that long, you pretty much have to hope that he just plays through it, don't you?
Well, you just hope he starts to swing the bat the way that he's capable of swinging the bat. But clearly Aubrey has put a lot of pressure on himself the last couple of weeks. And it's only human. I mean, you go from a last place club to a first place club, and you're counted on to start to drive in some runs, then all of a sudden you get off to a 4 for 35 start, and you start to second guess yourself.
And it snowballs. Inch goes down on strikes, and that is the second out. They've already had some activity. Jensen Lewis tuning up in the Cleveland pen.
Well, they have to protect themselves. They'd love to see the youngster get through this first inning, but they're not going to let him stay out there and throw 40 pitches.
This will be his 30th. And he'll throw it to Gerald Blair, the 8th man to bat in the inning. Fastball in for a strike, 0-1.
If Gerald could just figure out a way to get on top of the ball and hit more line drives and more ground balls than popping up, his batting average would go up a lot. He has had that pop-up disease lately.
Driven in the air toward left field, hit well. Brantley looks up. It's off the top of the wall, back in play. Maglio scores. Huck will go to third, and it's a double and an RBI and a near home run for Laird.
The last thing that Eric Wedge wants to do is to go out and get this rookie in the very first inning. It's the last thing he wants to do. He wants to let him pitch through it. G Money finally got on top of one. It's a nice line drive.
Check that out. It hits right off the back of the yellow line and stays in play. That was going to be a home run. Here is Adam Everett. 4-1 ball game. Tigers now with 6 hits. Driven to center field, and Sizemore will finally end the inning. Tigers send 9 men to the plate. Starting things over, the Polanco homer. Very next pitch, and goes deep. And it's 4-1 Detroit. Of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. On demand from Comcast, a variety of entertainment for much less than a night out at the movies. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. Back here at Comerica Park. Whoa, look at that.
Hello.
That took some doing. Red, white, and blue. 4-1 Tigers in the lead, and Edwin Jackson goes back to the hill with a nice little advantage to work with now. Matt Laporta leads it off. He'll be followed by Andy Marte and then Kelly Shopik. Laporta looks at a fastball away, run it to 2-0 on one of the prized prospects of the Indians who came over in the CC Sabathia deal last year. Down the middle it comes for strike one. Laporta made his big league debut in May here in Detroit against the Tigers. And all he had to do in his first big league game was face Justin Verlander.
And that was after Verlander had gotten on a roll, too.
Verlander struck him out a couple of times. Laporta would go 0 for 4 in the game.
I don't know if Laporta's not picking up the ball or what, but he is taking a 2-0 fastball right down the middle and a 2-1 fastball right down the middle.
2-2 fastball is low, 3-2.
Usually when you get yourself in those kind of counts and you're a big strong guy with some pop like Laporta, I mean, you're letting it go, especially against Jackson.
In the air, center field. On the run, Granderson on his horse. This one is over his head, and it's up against the wall. And Laporta has himself a leadoff double.
5 straight fastballs from Jackson to Laporta on the 6th one at 94 miles an hour after seeing 5. He crushed that one. And you could tell Granderson wasn't going to get to this one. As soon as he turned his back, and he took the first couple of steps, and it was like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get this one.
You can tell when Grandy's not going to get a ball, he puts his head down, and you can see his numbers.
It's almost like he's deflated.
No chance.
He was playing shallow against Laporta as well.
Here's Marte. It's the 3rd hit now for Cleveland. 2 of them have been doubles. Fastball rides in.
Marte's numbers have really perked up since we saw them in July. He was playing first base really for the very first time in his career and still getting accustomed to that position. But his bat hadn't woken up either. But his bat's been good lately. He may be living up to some of that promise that the Boston Red Sox thought he had when the Indians got him.
Well, there was so much written and talked about with this young man and what he could do and his skills and what he was going to do at the big league level, but he never was really able to get on a roll at this level. And now they've got him playing some first base, and as you mentioned, the numbers have been a little bit better.
He looks just like Johnny Peralta in the batter's box, the way that he holds his bat. Peralta holds his bat up high just like this. Identical.
Here's a strike, 2-2. 9 hits in this game so far between the two teams, 6 of them for extra bases. Way inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Marte.
Last time Jackson saw this Cleveland Indians team, it was July 31st, and he threw 115 pitches in 4 innings. But he only gave up 3 runs. So they were tough on Edwin about a month ago.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. 3rd strikeout now for Jackson already in this game. And Marte, who came in batting .381 with men in scoring position, fails to get it done. He's going to bring up Kelly Shopik. Shopik is hitting just .204, and one of the main reasons is he is 1 for his last 26. Wave and a miss. Shopik has knocked in 35. This time last year was hitting .264 with 17 homers.
He was playing every day. Victor Martinez was hurt. And Shopik was hitting for a lot of power. Hit more home runs than any catcher in the American League last year. Eric Wedge, a former catcher himself, got his start in the Boston Red Sox organization. 7th season as their manager. Catchers galore managing in the big leagues these days.
The 0-2. Chase it. 1-2. numbers seem to be getting higher and higher and higher. We saw one in Anaheim with Social. Matt, Tampa, Guerin, Oakland.
Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Wakamatsu.
The 1-2 is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And I guess they say that catchers make good managers because basically the catcher on the field is somewhat of a leader out there and has to think through the game, think through pitching sequences and matchups.
Well, they're smart. They have to retain a lot of information that's given to them before the game even starts on how you want to handle the opposing hitters, what works good for your pitcher, what's not working.
And again, Jackson has gone full now. 3-2 this time on Shopik. Interestingly enough, when Pudge Rodriguez was here, I asked him if he had any thoughts of managing once his playing days were over, and he didn't seem to indicate that was in his cards. He didn't think it would be something he wanted to do.
He said he wanted to coach kids, though.
Yeah, the younger levels. And there's ball 4, so Jackson walks the number 8 hitter.
And that's not good. Eddie was able to get ahead of Shopik. No balls and 2 strikes before losing him.
So here's Michael Brantley getting his first major league at bat. The son of Mickey Brantley, the former big leaguer who played with Seattle. These are his AAA numbers.
They say this young man can really run. He's got some outstanding speed.
.46 stolen bases down at AAA for Michael Brantley. I wonder how many times he's been called Mickey in his lifetime.
Name's too close.
A bunch.
Michael and Mickey.
1-0. There's a strike. 1-1 on Brantley.
His dad's a good man. Played with him in Seattle for a little while. And of course, he was on that staff in Toronto just a couple of years ago.
The 1-1 pitch. On ball. Foul. First base. Cabrera pounced on it, but just outside the line, said Phil Cuzzy. 1-2. I remember Mickey Brantley when I was broadcasting in AAA in Tucson, Arizona, was on the team one year, and it was toward the tail end of his career. And he was just kind of hanging on in AAA, and he just tore it up in the PCL. Mickey had a great year that year. He went on to, as you mentioned, coach in the big leagues for Toronto. And it's got to be a terrific advantage for Michael here to be hanging around big league locker rooms his entire career, or young childhood, I should say, which I'm sure he did.
Also, dad's a hitting coach.
One and 2. Chop back towards second base. Polanco flips to Everett. There's 1. There's 2. It's a double play. 4-6-3. Indians turned away. We'll go to the bottom of the second. 8. If you agree the 2009 Tigers are better than the 06 team, which area do you think is their biggest improvement? Is it A, the starting pitching, B, the bullpen, C, the defense, or D, the hitting? Again, you can text A, B, C, or D to 37338 and take part in tonight's poll question. Well, the Tigers have themselves a lead tonight, 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the second. Edwin Jackson got a big double play ball. Curtis Granderson leads it off for the second straight inning. Swings on the first pitch, hits it foul ground, and back out of play. 0-1. It fell right in her lap. Everybody okay down there? 0-1 on Granderson. Curtis had a double down the right field line. Eventually was thrown out trying to stretch it to a triple. Foul away again. Carlos Carrasco out of Venezuela was originally signed by the Philadelphia Phillies out of a Venezuelan tryout camp. Quickly was able to rise through their system, and of course he was involved in the Sabathia deal. Ripped to left center field, base hit. Grandy now 2 for 2.
Tigers have hit some bullets in this game already.
Yeah, nothing soft.
They've got 7 hits, and there has been nothing cheap about any of them. And this is what Polanco was able to do back in the first inning.
His 9th of the year. That evened up the game at 1-1 at that point. A ball up high to Polanco. I think I said that Carrasco was acquired in the Sabathia deal. That's incorrect. I meant to say the Cliff Lee deal. That's the deal he was involved in. And has quickly, after spending some time in the Indians minor league system, gotten to the big leagues here. His first big league opportunity tonight. Now the 1-0. And it's a strike called. 1-1 on Polanco. Gene Lamont running through the signs in the box at third base. Snap throw and Grandy back in there. Curtis with 20 stolen bases has been caught 6 times. There he goes. And it's rolled foul. It would be nice to get Granderson to the 30-30 plateau. He would need 5 home runs and 10 stolen bases in the month of September. Doable, but he's going to have to run a little bit more, I think. It's been a year in which Granderson has taken a dip in his batting average, but the power numbers have been a little bit better. Still playing that great center field defense, though. Polanco skitters out of the way, 2-2. Not many nights when Granderson's uniform is not dirty. There goes the runner again, and it's grounded foul again. 2-2, the count stays. Grandy getting his sprints in.
Carrasco doing a pretty nice job of getting the ball to Shopping. And so if Granderson's able to steal this base, it will not be off Carrasco. It will be off Kelly Shopping.
Shopping at about 20%. Runner goes. Slice and caught on a dive by Valbuena. And they are going to get a double play on a spectacular diving play by Luis Valbuena. Wow. But yet another scalded ball off the bat.
It looked like the shortstop was going to cover the bag, which meant Valbuena stayed home. Had Valbuena been going over to cover the bag, there's no way he would have been able to get back to make this play. And he took a hit away from Polanco. Highway robbery.
That ball may have been hit as hard as his home run ball was. Base is empty. There's Carlos Guillen.
Carlos has been doing a lot of first pitch swinging the last couple of days. He homered yesterday, first pitch swing in the opposite way. And today, on the very first swing that he takes, first pitch, plays long ball again against Carrasco.
And for Carlos, who hit 2 yesterday, gets another one here tonight. 9 for the year. Change up away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Guillen's average continues to climb as well. It's up to 252. Way outside. We got away from Carrasco, and it's now 3-1. Carrasco in the minor leagues was involved in 3 no-hitters. One of them was a combined no-hitter, and one of them was in the Gulf Coast League against the Tigers a few years back. He threw that one by himself. Outside again. He lost in ball 4. 2-out base runner, second walkout for Carlos Carrasco. And tonight's game is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. It's going to keep the inning going for Miguel Cabrera. He singled to center field and then stole a base in the first inning. Cabrera now with 4 swipes. Carrasco backs him out of the way there with a fastball in. Way inside again as Miguel buckles out of the way. 2-0.
That's exactly how Tampa pitched Cabrera the last 4 days. Lots of real good firm fastballs inside.
Cabrera comes into play today, second in the American League in total bases. He was growing through it a little bit in that Tampa series. Snapped an 0 for 12 with a base hit.
He does have the green light if he wants to swing.
And he does. Popped him up, though. The shortstop, Cabrera. To retire, Cabrera. Tigers get a hit of 1, lead 1, and 2 are in the books now, 4-1. will be featured at a school near you. Jackson back to work as we go to the top of the third in a 4-1 ball game. Sizemore leading it off. Grady is 0 for 1 in this game. He fanned to start the ball game against Jackson back in the first. And he takes up high, 1 ball and 1 strike on Grady Sizemore. That, by the way, was the 100th pitch already thrown in this game when you combine both sides. So both Jackson and Carrasco have gone deep into counts. Now the 2-1. Edwin walked Shopik back in the second, but got a double play ball, and then he's gone 3-1 on Sizemore. Cabrera, he's on deck. He'll follow, and then Shin-Soo Choo.
Yeah, this is a dangerous count for Edwin. I mean, Grady loves to hit fastballs.
Leadoff walk. Second walk.
Hey fans, Saturday afternoons were made for baseball, and this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, it's an important American League clash as Dustin Pedroia and the Boston Red Sox take on Paul Konerko and the White Sox. Coverage begins Saturday at 4 p.m. on your local Fox station.
Well, were you surprised at Jim Thome and Jose Contreras being dealt?
Sort of. I didn't expect Kenny Williams to make a deal as late as yesterday. But it's not surprising. Apparently they feel like either one, they can still win without Thome, or two, they're conceding the division.
Thome looks kind of odd in a Dodger cap. He's not used to seeing it.
You wonder how much first base Thome will be able to play in Los Angeles.
That appears to be the question, because he was pretty much DHing with Chicago.
And Contreras probably needed a new some new scenery.
Yeah,
I think Ozzie was tired of looking at it.
And I think the well, that could be. I think the White Sox as well needed to get a little bit younger, which they did very quickly with those two deals. Now, was Ozzie getting tired of looking at him or his work?
Well, when your work's not good, he probably got tired of looking at him too.
So both. No balls, 2 strikes on Asdrubal Cabrera. Way high, 1-2.
White Sox still have a quality team. I mean, when you've got Quentin and you've got a Pasetnik, you have the kid Rios they just got from Toronto, and of course you still have Dye in right field. So they'll be able to find some spots for a DH somewhere in that batting order.
Runner going on 1-2, and it's rolled into right field. A base hit. Sizemore stopping at second will get to third, and now the Indians have something brewing here in the third inning. Walking a single.
The designated hitter, Shin-Soo Choo.
That'll bring up Shin-Soo Choo.
And Grady was running on the pitch, and the pitch wasn't a bad one. It was a breaking ball that was down, and Cabrera got out in front of it and hit it right past Polanco. Looked like Polanco had taken a couple of steps over towards second base, like he was the one that was going to be going to the bag to take the throw from Laird, and could not recover.
Rick Knapp was on the phone for the Tigers. Looks like they're going to start to stir in the Detroit bullpen.
It's a good pitch right there. First pitch changeup to a dead fastball hitter in Shin-Soo Choo, who's had a nice year and really getting his first chance to play every day. 300 batting average, 14 big flies, and he's driven in 72. Already driven in 1 here today.
He's kind of blossomed with the Cleveland Indians. He's a pretty good player over with Seattle, correct?
Yes.
He was with Seattle, and then when he came here to Cleveland, man.
He's got some tools. He's got a really good arm in the outfield. He can run. You talked about the 18 stolen bases. And he's hitting over 300.
Saw Zach Miner warming up in the Detroit bullpen, so Jackson Looking over his shoulder, sees the bullpen working a little bit now. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Shin-Soo Choo. Jim Leyland's team at 69 and 61, a 3.5 game lead in the Central over Minnesota. Wave and a miss. Down he goes, and 4 strikeouts for Jackson.
It's a nice slide piece right here. It's got some nice depth to it. Located perfectly down and in. And left-handers like the ball down, but if you can get it down there, they can't hurt you. The pitch to Cabrera, it wasn't really that bad a pitch that he singled in the right field with before Choo came up. And now here's that guy that hits into a lot of double plays. One pitch gets you out of this mess.
It's already turned 1 double play. Brantley hit into it back in the 2nd. Peralta has bounced into 16 up. And he hits a ground ball to 3rd. Short hopping his Inge. Fires to 2nd. 1. There's your double play. 5-4-3. The 2nd twin killing. Turned behind Edwin Jackson. Nice play started by In. And then completed by Polanco.
Thank you very much, Keith. So let's take one more look at this double play ball off of the bat of Peralta. At third base, you have to make split-second decisions. Inge knows that if he stays back on this ball, he's not going to get to. He's not going to get to Polanco, and they won't turn it over. Therefore, he creates a bad hop for himself, a tricky hop, and he's able to pick it.
And that's the 2nd double play that the Tigers have turned tonight. And Maglio Ordonez will lead things off here in the 3rd. Ordonez huffing Inge, facing Carlos Carrasco, who was pelted around pretty good in the 1st inning and was helped out by a line drive double play in the 2nd. But it seems like everything, literally everything hit tonight by the Tigers has been hit right on the nose. Even the outs have been loud. 2-1 on Ordonez, who walked and scored in his 1st at bat. Fouls one back out of play. Run the count to 2-2. Maglio at .330 over his last 28 games. Been anywhere from 3rd to 5th in the Tigers lineup. Leyland has used him in the 3 spot a little bit recently. Got him, strike 3. Tom Hallion with the emphatic call.
Hey fans, buy a Comerica Park Party Suite for select games in September and receive a $300 food credit, plus a free suite for another game. For more information, call 313-471-BALL or log on to tigers.com.
There's Aubrey Huff. Aubrey had an RBI single back up the middle in the first inning, driving in his 74th run of the year. And he takes high and away, 2-0. That is outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Reading an article on Carrasco that during spring training, the Indians were playing, or the Phillies, I should say, were playing the Cardinals. He was with the Phillies at the time. The 3-0 pitch. And there's ball 4. And he crossed paths with Albert Pujols in the outfield as Carrasco was shagging him. Pujols said, hey, you do a pretty good job. He goes, the one thing I've noticed, though, is that your front shoulder flies open quite a bit, and when it does, I know exactly what you're going to throw. And you have to concentrate on keeping that front shoulder closed.
That is good that a veteran player like Pujols will take the time to give that to valuable, and I mean valuable information to a very young pitcher like Carrasco.
And a non-teammate. Here's Brandon Inge. Ball outside. And apparently Carrasco was giving up a lot of hard hits in that first inning, and the Tigers hit him very well to the tune of 7 hits so far in this game. But he's been a guy that has had a lot of accolades in his minor league career. He's been the #1 prospect of the Phillies a couple of seasons.
You look at his stuff. He can win up here. He's got a fastball that will get to 95. He's got that little cut slider, which is not as big as a regular slider, but it's got some nice moving action to it. But he has not thrown his changeup all that much today, and we've been told that that's the pitch that he has the most confidence in.
Inge fanned back in the first inning. Driven deep to left field, hit hard and gone. Boy, oh boy, the Tigers are swinging the lumber tonight. That is their 3rd home run of the game.
They're hitting this boy like they know what's coming. And I mean that literally. Every fastball that he has thrown up there has been absolutely crushed. Just like this one. Wow. And that ball's up above the belt buckle. And somehow, some way, Brandon climbs the ladder with his hands and is able to get on top of that ball to hit a line drive out of here. Most guys pop that ball up, especially at the velocity of 93, 94 miles an hour.
26th home run of the year for Brandon Inge. RBI 69 and 70, and they get on the telephone again to alert the bullpen.
Tigers have 3 players with 25 or more home runs. Last checked, only one other team had at least 3 players with 25 or more, and that's the Fighting Fields in Philadelphia.
Well, they've got Granderson, they've got Cabrera, and they've got Inge. And they've got a 6-1 lead. Oh, 0-2 on Gerald Laird, who very nearly hit one out in his last at bat in the first inning. And he had to settle for a 2-base hit to drive in a run. So Carrasco in his big league debut has allowed 6 runs on 8 hits, and we're still only in the 3rd as Oka begins to warm up.
Usually the pitcher has an advantage, at least the first time through the batting order, when you're going up against a team for the very first time. And if you're the Tigers, you're seeing Carrasco for the very first time as Laird swings at a slider for strike 3.
Strikeout for Carrasco.
But it has really been no advantage first time through the batting order for Carrasco, nor is it an advantage the second time through. Edwin Jackson probably wondering where all these runs are coming from.
Exactly. He's not too used to this, is he?
No. He's smiling, though.
Jackson receives 3.81 runs per 9 innings, 2nd lowest in the American League.
He is cheesing from ear to ear.
Cheesing. Here's Adam Everett, who is the only Tiger not to reach base tonight.
And the ball he hit was a bullet his first time up.
There's a base hit. Cheesing. cheesing right now?
Adams cheesing. Adams fresh. I was talking to him before the game today. He said he had injuries in '07. He had some injuries in '08. And he said the way that Leland has used him this year along with Santiago, pretty much alternating them on a day-to-day basis. He said that he is as fresh now at the end of the year than he has been in a long, long time.
See, I thought you meant fresh P-H-R-E-S.
It could be.
Carl Willis coming out. 9 Tigers hits. Everett reaching for the first time of the game, and to bring it up to the top of the order, Curtis Granderson. Tigers with 4 in the first, 2 more here in the third. And Carl Willis is going to be chased out of there now by Tom Hallion, who's making his way out to the mound.
Carl Willis was on the '84 championship Tigers team. Pitched in a few innings for Sparky. He has been with Eric Wedge since Wedge has been the manager in Cleveland, and he was also his pitching coach for a couple of years in Buffalo when Wedge was managing down there before getting an opportunity to skipper the Cleveland Indians.
Here's Granderson, 2 for 2, single and a double. Everett gets back. Adam has run a little bit this year. He has stolen 5 in 7 attempts. Rolled foul, first base side, 0-1 on Curtis Granderson. Grandy now is hit safely in the 9 of his last 11. It outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Carrasco in '07 and '08 was rated the best prospect in the Phillies organization. Coming into this year was the number 2 prospect.
Well, if you're the Cleveland Indians and you trade away a valuable piece in Cliff Lee as they did, reigning American League Cy Young Award winner, and was pitching outstanding baseball again this year, even though the wins and losses didn't indicate that, you've got to get a couple of really nice pieces in return for that left arm.
Absolutely. And Carrasco, as we have seen tonight, appears to have pretty good stuff, but jitters has to be a big part of that first big league chance.
No doubt about that.
And he barely made it through that first inning. Here's the 2-1. 2-2. Polanco waiting on deck. Tigers have extended the lead with 2 more here in the third. Runner going. Lifted in the air. Left field. Playable for Michael Brantley. And the side retired. Tigers, however, had the lead. Brandon Inge goes deep. And it's 6-1 Detroit. There's your question tonight. Answer coming up in the bottom of the fourth inning. Jackson back to work. Throws a strike to Luis Valbuena. Matt Laporta to follow, and then Andy Marte. Jackson trying to become a little bit more economical. He has thrown 60 pitches through the first 3 innings.
As I said earlier, Laird wanted to try to incorporate.
It's to left field, but it's going to be playable for Guillen.
A few more changeups and a few more breaking balls for Edwin early in the game. He noticed the last few times Edwin has gone out there. He's been a little fastball happy, but that's an easy trap to fall into when you've got an overpowering fastball, as Edwin does on most nights.
Here comes Matt Laporta. Laporta in Columbus hit almost 300, 299 with 17 long balls and 60 RBIs. Jackson bouncing one in. Edwin has struck out 4, has been the recipient of a pair of double plays. The 1-0. Jackson now has fallen behind 3-0. He has walked a pair, Sizemore in the third, and then Shafik back in the second. Down the middle it comes for strike 1. 3-1. Waiting on deck is Marte. Another strike. 3-2.
Same count Laporta found himself in last time he was up. 3-2, looking for another piece of cheese. That would be fastball for some of you new viewers out there.
Tipped into the glove. Strike 3. 5, count them, 5 strikeouts already for Jackson.
You think we still got some folks jumping on the wagon, or you think they already on?
No. There's a ton
still jumping on?
Yeah, they're still jumping on. They still need help every now and then with some of your isms. So
any of them jumping off, you think?
No, I hope not. They better not. This one is going to get fun. A 3.5 game lead going down the stretch here. It's September.
And you're playing meaningful games.
Look back to 2003 and how desperate we were to be in this situation, to be in September with a chance to play for a division and a playoff spot and to get to the World Series.
We don't really have to go back that far. We can go back to last year. I mean, with all the expectations coming into the season, and to finish last in your division, and with the year that they had, it was difficult.
Well, and that's what I love about the game of baseball. Making the playoffs is so much harder in baseball than it is in the other sports, I think.
Last time I checked, there was no asterisk by the St. Louis Cardinals name for winning only 83 games in 06 and winning the World Series.
You're right. 6 strikeouts for Jackson. A 1-2-3 fourth inning. What four Tigers have won 10 or more games with a sub-3 ERA since 1970. And the Duck says, well, Mickey Lolich did it twice. Joe Coleman, Mark Fidrich, and Jeff Robinson, and Edwin Jackson trying to do it this year. Jackson came in with a 2.96 earned run average. Tigers lead it here 6-1. New pitcher in a wall side windows pitching change, Tomo Oka.
Oka pitching in his 15th game for the Cleveland Indians, comes in with an elevated earned run average over 6. He's not a strikeout pitcher, just 24 of those in 53 and a third innings against 13 walks, but he's given up 14 home runs. 14 of them.
Carlos Carrasco at his big league debut, lasting 3 innings, 6 runs, 9 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Oka will face Placido Polanco here in the bottom of the 4th. Foul straight back 0-1. Polanco 1 for 2, hit a solo shot. No run back in the first. Oka, after he was called up from AAA by the Indians, became just the 2nd Japanese-born pitcher to throw 1,000 innings in the big leagues. The only other was Hideo Nomo.
Tornado,
yeah. Nomo threw a no-hitter, if I remember correctly. One ball, 1 strike on Tomo Oka. There's the strike, 1-2. Polanco, then Guillen, and then Cabrera here in the 4th. Tigers have 2, 3, and 4 coming up, leading at 6-1 in the opening game in this series. One and 2. Indians signed him as a minor league free agent this past offseason. Gave him an invite to spring training. In the air, right field, hit pretty good. But Laporta is there. 1 out.
Well, Carrasco's night was short, and one of the reasons why it was short is because the Tigers, the first 3 hitters, they clobbered fastballs. Granderson doubled down in the right field corner. He was thrown out, trying to stretch that to a triple. Polanco played long ball, and then on the very next pitch, Guillen played long ball as well, but they weren't finished. It was Cabrera, it was Huff, it was Laird, and when it was all said and done, they had 4 runs on 6 hits, and there was nothing cheap about any of them.
Here is Carlos Guillen with 1 out. He gets a ground ball to second. Easy play there for Valbuena. 2 up, 2 down against Oka.
The first baseman,
Going to bring Miguel Cabrera.
That's the 3rd consecutive at bat. And where Guillen went up there swinging at the very first pitch.
There's a strike. Indians right now working on a 10-game road trip. They were in KC and Baltimore, here in Detroit. The final leg of that trip. They've won 4 and lost 3. And there's another hit for Miguel Cabrera, his 2nd hit of the game.
They might throw that ball out. I think that one might be a little lopsided.
the right fielder, Maglio.
There might be a few balls here tonight that are a little lopsided.
That one Payne hit at Granderson yesterday. I know they had to throw that one out.
I still have never seen a ball hook or curve that much to center field.
Crazy.
Here's Maglio. Walking a strikeout. So Ordonez, the only Tiger without a hit. Detroit has 10 hits tonight. But Ordonez has a walk and a run scored. Tigers have been hitting the ball so hard tonight that that ground out by Guillen is the first ground ball out recorded tonight by Cleveland pitching. Everything else has been in the air, on a line, out of the ballpark. A few strikeouts mixed in. 1-1 on Ordonez, who fanned back in the third. White Sox and Minnesota going at it again tonight. That is scoreless in the second. Outside, 2-1.
Well, the Tigers will take a little help from the Chicago White Sox tonight, as long as they handle their business here at Comerica Park, in which they have done a lot of this year. They've been a really good home team, one of the best in all of baseball at protecting home court advantage.
Tigers this year have 42 home victories, and in the American League only Boston and New York have more home victories, 45 for each of those teams.
That's good company to be in.
Well, and especially at home where you're expected to take care of business. They're 20 over here at Comerica Park.
This has been a funny year for road teams, though. There are not a lot of good teams playing away from their home ballparks. Last check, the Anaheim Angels and the Yankees were the only teams above 500 on the road in the American League.
Well, to illustrate the point, Boston has won 76 games this year. They're 2 under on the road. Grounded off the glove of Marte into right field. Cabrera streaking all the way to third is in there safely.
And the Porter kid can throw in right field. And Maglio will get his first hit of the day and get into that hit parade. Looked like Guillen stopped and then started again, and this ball was directly at Marte with a wicked hop, and he couldn't pick it. And Carlos kind of cruising going to third, and Laporta threw a seed over there. Cabrera, excuse me.
So that'll put him at first and third now with 2 outs and 11 Tigers hits. Here's Aubrey Huff. Huff with a single, a walk, and an RBI.
That's a good sign. The base hit was up the middle. After that's what Huff was working on earlier today in early batting practice with Lloyd McClendon. And then he took a walk, so that's a lot of times a good sign. Guys start to see the ball a little bit more, slowing the game down. Even a guy that's been in the big leagues as long as Huff has, when you get yourself in certain situations where you're not going well, the game speeds up on veteran players too. And you try to do too much, and the next thing you know, you've created some bad swings for yourself.
Well, he's ahead here, 2-0.
Calling one?
Yeah, might as well. Swinging a drive, deep into right center, way back, off the wall. Oh, he almost did it. Here comes Maglio rounding third, 2 runs in. And Huff is back, apparently. That's his second hit.
A couple of great swings today by Aubrey Huff. We've already told you about the sizzling single up the middle back in that very first inning, but this is what you do with 2-0 pitches when you get them in the heart of the plate. You just simply drive the ball and crush it. He allows this ball to get deep, but take a look at the imaginary line that I could draw right down the center of his body. And when the bill of your cap is directly over your belt buckle and you can get that kind of bat speed, that's when you can do a lot of damage. It doesn't get much better than that for a left-handed swing.
A 3 RBI night for Aubrey Huff. 76 for the season now. The Tigers are up 8-1. Here's Brandon Inge. Breaking ball in for strike 1.
You know, a lot of hitting instructors will talk to their guys when they're watching film on them, and that's what they'll do. They'll draw that line right down from the bill of the cap, right down through your belt buckle to the floor. And if it splits your body perfectly, that means you've got yourself in pretty nice weight transfer to deliver the blow, as Huff did there. Sometimes you'll see guys out in front with their upper body. Sometimes you'll see guys drop that back shoulder, and that perfect alignment's not there. It was there for Huff.
Now the count, 2-1 on Brandon Inge. Sometimes it just all comes together, and for Aubrey Huff on that swing to the gap in right center field, had the Tigers lead. Inge sends a high fly ball in the air toward left field. Brantley to the warning track to haul it in to retire the side. Well, Aubrey Huff picking up 2 hits in the ball game tonight. RBI single back in the first, 2-run double in the fourth. Ballpark, and maybe Aubrey Huff's 2 hits, the most encouraging thing, Rod. He's been on base 3 times, and they've been kind of waiting to get him going, and boy, he's gotten going tonight.
Well, he took that extra batting practice today, and he was working exclusively at hitting the ball right back up the middle, letting the ball travel deep, and with the 2 hits that he's gotten today, that's exactly what he has done.
Meanwhile, Edwin Jackson wondering what to do with all this offense. They don't usually score him runs, but boy, they really got Carrasco early in this game and kind of set the tone for the contest.
Well, I have a feeling that Edwin's kind of enjoying this run support that he has gotten here tonight. And he is not going to allow this one to slip away. His pitch count got kind of high in the first few innings of this ball game, but he kind of settled down last half inning, and he'll need to do some more settling down if he's going to get through 7 today.
That's a fair ball by Inge into left field. Rounding the bag, Shopik. He'll go to second, and he's in with a double. So after a 1-2-3 fourth inning, a leadoff 2-base hit here in the 5th. That'll bring up Michael Brantley.
Another tough hop here for Inge. He tried to take the right angle to get to that ball. You see the angle that he's taking there? Trying to create a better hop for himself with the ball, just kind of skip right over his glove. That's one of the things that Inge does very well at that position. One, he's got shortstop feet, which means he's very quick. I mean, gets good jumps to balls, but he always knows when to come back, when to come in to get good hops for himself.
Well, here is Michael Brantley, who bounced into a double play. 4-6-3 back in the second. Apparently Brantley was called up. There was an article in the Cleveland Plain Dealer about how Grady Sizemore is probably going to have surgery before the end of the season on his throwing elbow. It's been inflamed, and he's had trouble with it all season long, so he's going to have surgery nonetheless, and it may be sooner rather than later. So Brantley has been called up, and they might as well just get that thing fixed and get him ready for next year.
Yeah, Brantley is a center fielder by trade.
Grady waiting on deck. Has had a subpar year in terms of average. He came in at 247. 3-0 pitch. And Jackson delivers a strike, 3-1. The double by Shopik, just the 5th hit of the night for the Indians. Back up the middle, into center, and that's a base hit. First big league hit for Michael Brantley. It's a single here in the 5th inning.
And they'll be throwing that one out.
The center fielder, Grady Sizemore.
First major league hit in his big league debut, just his 2nd big league at bat.
That was a pretty swing, too. Usually a trainer will come out and get it. No, not this time. Uh-oh.
It's dangerous, man.
Uh-oh.
Did you let another player handle it?
Yeah, that's why they usually give them to the trainers.
There you go.
Now it's safe.
Or so we think. Here's Sizemore. He drives one in the air deep into right field. Maglio backing up on this one. Won't get it off the wall. It's going to roll by him. Granderson will back him up. They're going to try and get 2 runs in, and they will. Shopik and Brantley come around to score. Sizemore a 2-run double, and it's 8-3.
And Grady Sizemore loves to swing at the first pitch, and he's an outstanding fastball hitter. And Jackson knows that, but Jackson still believes he can throw one by Grady. But he's not able to do so here. That ball just a tick from going out of here. And Jackson's going to have to continue to pitch with some of his breaking balls. The youngster's got a nice little stride, too.
First big league run scored. Rick Knapp is out to have a chat with Jackson. The first 3 reach here in the 5th inning. 7 doubles in this game, 4 now for the Indians, and 3 for the Tigers as Minor tunes up again. He was up earlier in this game. Pitch count has been high for Jackson tonight. Here is Asdrubal Cabrera. He's had a big night, single double and a run scored. Ball 1. Seven hits for Cleveland. High fly ball, center field. A lot of room out there. Granderson cruising back. The runner will tag. Sizemore coming to 3rd. 1 out.
The designated hitter, Shin-Soo Choo.
Here's Shin-Soo Choo. Ooh. 95, here it is, and he throws it right by Choo. 0-1. Shin-Soo singled in a run back in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 2. Jackson, though, struck him out in his last at bat. In the air toward left. See if this one gets back out of play. Guillen gets there, but unable to hold on to it. Oh, 2.
Don't hurt yourself, Carlos.
Actually never had it. Close, though. There's another fly ball. This one in the shallow left center. Guillen coming on. Catch is made. Sizemore. It's dropped now by Guillen, and the run will score. Sizemore wasn't coming in. They'll get another run in now, and it's 8-4.
And which means that I don't know how you score that. It's got to be an error on Carlos.
Has to be.
It will not be a sacrifice fly. At least it shouldn't be.
No,
Carlos caught it, yeah, but then on the exchange, he just couldn't grab it. Took a look up to see where the runner was and what Sizemore was doing, and then all of a sudden he's not able to exchange. You could see Grady not going. Took a couple steps and stopped. But that's a lesson learned for you kids at home. Grady never took his eye off the left fielder. A lot of times you'll see guys break 3-4 steps real hard and they keep their head down. He was still watching Carlos, and that's why he was able to score.
Back up the middle into center field. And Peralta has his first hit tonight.
Take one more look at Grady when he breaks off the bat in third. Takes a couple of steps, but he doesn't take his eye off Carlos. And then he sees the ball drop and he's able to score. A lot of guys would not have been watching Carlos like that.
First error of the ball game for either side. Here's Valbuena. Little looper into left field. That ball is going to drop in. It's a fair ball. Peralta coming to third. He's going to stop there. The Indians not going anywhere. Edwin Jackson was staked to a big lead in this one, 8-1. It's now 8-4 with runners at second and third.
Well, within the division, the Indians have been the best team since the All-Star break, and you're getting a chance to see why. And they will not quit. And they're swinging them sticks tonight.
Nine hits for Cleveland in this game. 12 for the Tigers.
There you have it. Since the break, 23-18. Best record in the division.
Matt Laporta swings in the first pitch and pops it up. Polanco to the grass to retire the side, but it's a 3-run inning getting the Indians closer. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Stores and by wall-side windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here at the ballpark, and the Tigers' lead is a little less comfortable now. It is 8-4 after a 3-run fifth inning. And the Tigers coming back to the plate here in the bottom of the fifth with their catcher Gerald Laird. He'll be followed by Adam Everett and then Curtis Granderson. Tomo Oka had to take over in the fourth inning after Carlos Carrasco lasted 3 in his big league debut for Cleveland. Tigers got a couple of more runs in that 4th inning when Huff doubled in 2 off Oka. The 2-0 pitch. He shows bunt and he looks at a strike. 2-1.
A little BP fastball there from Oka at 84 miles an hour. And sometimes pitchers will do that, excuse me, in a good fastball count. They won't throw the best fastball. They'll take just a little bit off to keep you out in front.
First base side for Marte, and 1 gone. Well, we've talked about how important it is to win within your division. We kind of touched on it at the top of the telecast. And when you look at the last 5 divisional champs, this is what they did within the division.
Well, you play against each other so many times that it's imperative that you play well.
Right now, the Tigers have 27 wins against teams within their division. Minnesota has more, 28. But you got to play well, and the Tigers have to here in the month of September. They'll see all their divisional opponents, KC and Cleveland, and Chicago and Minnesota. Everett skies one in the air to left. Here comes Brantley. 2 outs. Tigers have 32 games remaining, 25 of which will be played against those teams we talked about: Minnesota, Chicago, Cleveland, KC.
They play quite a few games at home as well, where they're an outstanding home team, and that's because they played so many games on the road the first half of the year. Traveling out to the West Coast on 3 different occasions. They had a tough schedule in the first half.
Well, Jim Leland said he was ecstatic that the Tigers will not be going out to the West Coast anymore, because those trips really tend to wear on players because of the time change.
They'll take that trip to Anaheim, though, in October, though, won't they?
Absolutely. I would think so. Edwin Jackson has thrown 90 pitches through 5 innings tonight. Here's the 2-0. And Randy hooks one to first base on the ground for Marte. It's going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning for Oka. 5 in the books. It is still 8-4 Detroit.
Postseason priority for 2009. For more information, call 313-471-BALL or visit Tigers.com. The race for the pennant.
Well, Edwin Jackson's night is done. Elfine, 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs earned. He walked 2, struck out 6. Can get the victory if the Tigers go on to win.
Well, Eddie not happy, obviously, with the night that he has had here, but it'd be nice for the Tigers to hold on and get Eddie that win. I'm sure he'll be smiling at the end of the day.
Zach Minor, the new Tigers pitcher.
39th game for Zach Minor. He's got quite a few decisions, 5-4. 50 strikeouts and 74 plus innings pitched so far this year. And the key for Zach is just those strikes. Pitch to contact. Zach gets himself into trouble and when he pitches away from the barrel of the bat.
He is facing 7, 8, 9 here in the 6th inning. Marte leads it off, and Shopik and Brantley. 1 ball, 1 strike on Andy Marte, who struck out twice against Edwin Jackson.
Well, he's happy then that Jackson's gone.
Now the 1-1. Breaking ball right at the knees. Outer edge, 1-2.
Zach's got 4 pitches. He's got slider. He's got fastball. He's got the curveball, also a changeup, which is one of the reasons why he prefers to start versus relieving.
Two and 2. Tigers bullpen has a team ERA now of under 4. 3.99. For as good as their starting pitching has been, the relievers have certainly pulled their weight. With the last 17. 6 for 6 in save opportunities, an earned run average of 2.76. 2-2 pitch. Oh, almost. I'm thinking you got to make that play. And he doesn't even get the ball. It was thrown into the seats, and that guy's going to come away with nothing tonight. I like it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Nope, he's going to step off. Now the 2-2. Look out. Back toward the Tigers dugout. Twelve Tigers hits tonight, 9 for the Indians. Edwin Jackson still not real happy with his outing tonight, although he can get a victory. Jackson not happy with that 5th inning. Gave up 3 runs after the Tigers had built up an 8-1 spread and pretty much let the Indians back into this game.
And by him only throwing 5 innings in this game will be a good thing for the Tigers down the stretch.
Swinging a high drive deep into left field. This ball seems to have enough, and it sure does. It's gone. A home run. Boy, the Indians, falling behind 8-1, are now back to within 3. Marte hits his 4th of the year.
The Indians are a dangerous team to play this time of year. And they're not in last place in the division, but they're not going to the playoffs. They've got several new faces. They've got guys that are fighting for jobs for next year. And they're playing with a sense of urgency for their manager and job next season.
Here's Kelly Shopik. He fouls it off 0-1.
They're just swinging, aren't they? I don't think they've seen a fastball they didn't like.
Well, they now have 10 hits. Each team with 10 or more. Tigers have 12. Typically, when you get a team down 8-1 in September, and especially a ball club that's out of the race, it's typically game over. And I know it was still early in the game, 5th inning, but they clawed back for 3, and now 1 more here in the 6th, which means more action in the Detroit bullpen. Foutaney is the lefty, and Eddie Bonine is the righty. Tigers, of course, calling some guys up. Bonine, one of them. Bonderman called up. He'll be pitching out of the pen as well. The 0-2 is a breaking ball in, 1-2.
The last couple of months, it's pretty much gotten to the point with the Tigers where their starters, if they give you 6, you like your bullpen to get those final 9 outs. With what Nee has done and what C has done, along with Lyon and Rodney, and 6 innings with a lead is pretty good for your club these days.
2-2.
Doesn't always work out that way, but we just gave you some numbers that kind of validated that it's a good thing for the Tigers when they go into the 7th with a lead.
Well, Leland again was talking about how sometimes you can be very uncomfortable with a big lead, which the Tigers had tonight. As a manager, one of his worst fears is that you let a big lead get away. He has had games, of course we had one in Anaheim, which the Tigers led 10-0 and had to hold on. Leland said, I've had teams that have blown 10-run leads. It's not a good feeling. Here it was a 7-run lead, and now it's 8-5.
And Jim Leland, proud papa these days. Not only is he proud of his Tigers and what this team has been able to do in first place on September 1st, but he's also elated at the fact that his young son Patrick is going to Maryland on a baseball scholarship. And when he starts talking about his son, he is awfully happy. Awfully happy.
Patrick had a lot of schools coming after him. He decided on Maryland. Swing and a miss. Shafik is out. It's the first time they've gotten him tonight.
You know, Jim took a lot of heat when he walked away from that Colorado Rockies job back in 2000. But one of the things that he wanted to do was go home and be a dad, which a lot of us don't get a chance to do on a day-to-day basis. And for 6 years, he was able to stay home and turn that boy into a man. And it's big. He feels good about that. He feels really good about that.
Well, here is Michael Brantley. Mickey Brantley's son, who has turned into a man and a big league player.
But at the time when he walked away, it was not a popular decision, but one he felt like he had to do for his family.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brantley had his first big league hit back in the 5th inning. And also scored his first big league run. The 1-1 pitch is a strike call. 1-2. Michael Brantley. Minor came on here in the 6th, gave up the home run to Marte. Shafik has just struck out. Driven to right field. Right at Maglio. Hit hard, but straight at it. 2 gone. So bring up the top of the order, Brady Sizemore. Sizemore started that comeback in the 5th inning with a 2-run double off Edwin Jackson. He's driven in 64 this season. Ball 1.
Grady was a 30-30 man last year. Hit 33 home runs and stole 38 bases. Won a Silver Slugger.
Shattered his bat that time, rolled it right to Cabrera. And that is that for Cleveland. They get another run though. A home run by Marte. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Polanco, Guillen, Cabrera coming up. Did you ever throw your glove when you were a kid?
Absolutely.
All the time.
And kicked it, too.
Well, the Tigers now lead by 3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Breaking ball to Placido Polanco, who leads it off here in the 6th inning.
Well, even though the Tigers have a 3-run lead, the momentum has somewhat switched into that first base dugout. The one that the Indians are occupying right now. The Tigers need to answer them with a run or 2 here.
And that's a good start. Base hit. Polanco has his 2nd hit tonight. So that is 13 overall now for Detroit.
Well, Carlos has swung at the first pitch in all 3 of his plate appearances today. And I guess my best guess would be if he gets a fastball, he'll be swinging again.
Got a solo home run in the 1st inning. Went back-to-back with Polanco. One ball, no strikes. Carlos now with 9 home runs. And he's knocked in 24 in the 34 games that he's played in since coming off the disabled list. Still not able to swing right-handed, and probably won't be able to the rest of the year. Although that's not in stone. That's the general feeling. 2-0. Infield looking for the ground ball, try and turn 2. Tigers have lined into a double play tonight. Oka came on in the 4th inning. After Carrasco, the starter, lasted just 3 in his big league debut. And surrendered 3 home runs. 3-0 on Guillen. Oka digging himself a hole. Cabrera waiting on deck with his powerful bat. Three and one. Runner going on 3-1, and there is ball 4. So a walk to Guillen. And the Tigers now have something going here. They're going to bring up their cleanup man. Carl Willis gets right back on the phone. Miguel tonight with 2 more singles, 2 runs scored and a steal. Hitting .337. Mauer at .368 continues to lead the American League. Strike 1. Lewis up in their bullpen again. Lewis up, I believe, in the 1st inning when Carrasco was having difficulty. Eight-5 Tigers lead. It was 8-1 at one point. But the Indians come storming back with 3 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. On the outside corner. Good pitch there by Oka. 0-2. Ground ball hit to second. There's one. Here comes Cabrera's relay. There's two. It's a double play. 4-6-3 on the sharp ground ball. That'll move a runner to third base with 2 outs. And it's going to be up to Ordonez to try and get him in. Maglio with a single and a walk and 2 runs scored. Every Tiger with at least 1 hit tonight. Fly ball, right field. And Oka's going to pitch out of this jam to retire the side. Double play ball help. 6 in the books. Here at Comerica Park, it'll be Cabrera, Chu, and Peralta coming up. Now he'll play right field in place of Ordonez. And the new pitcher is Bobby C.
Part of that back end of the bullpen for Jim that's been stellar. And for the better part of the last couple of months, 32 strikeouts and 41 2/3 innings for Bobby C this year. And he's been handling left-handers and right-handers effectively.
As Drupal Cabrera, the first man to face him, he'll be followed by Chu and Peralta. Big night for Cabrera, single double, runs scored, and batting .318 this season. Sits safely now in 4 straight, and he takes high and away. 2 balls, no strikes.
Not a big difference with Cabrera as far as the batting average is concerned. He's hitting .296, right-handed, .323 from the left side.
Well, that's why he's, as you put it, been probably their most consistent hitter all year. There's a strike, 2-1.
He performed very well for them second half of the year in 07. Got off to a miserable start in 08, sent down to the minor leagues, called back up, but didn't recapture that magic of 07 until this year.
Line foul, back out of play, 2-2.
It's all about adjustments up here. Once you start to have success, and Cabrera had some success the second half of 07, teams start to pay a little bit more attention to you. In that 08 season, it's all about you making that adjustment. It took him a while before he figured it out again. Playing shortstop these days. I think that's his best position. 2-2 pitch. Fly ball, right field. Thomas
contested quickly. He'll handle the first out at the warning track. What's going on at the Metrodome for Chicago and the Twins playing at the Dome tonight? Chicago has taken the lead 1-0 in the fifth.
Who's pitching tonight for the White Sox? Is it Danks? Danks usually gives Minnesota problems.
I think you might be right. I think it is.
It is Danks.
Is it?
And Burley tomorrow. Burley due for a good one himself.
Lexi Ramirez with a home run in that game. Shin-Soo Choo, the batter, 0-1. Twins have only one hit tonight. Jeff Manship is on the hill.
Who?
Jeff Manship. Never heard of him?
No, I have not.
How would you? Brandon Lyon tuning up. We've heard of him.
Jeff Jones, bullpen coach, does a wonderful job.
Now the 1-1. 1-2 on Shin-Soo Choo.
See Jones carrying that clipboard around, keeping score, making sure he knows exactly what the opposing hitters have done. Therefore, he can inform his relievers as to what they should do once they enter the game.
Swing and a miss. Choo is retired, and a strikeout for Bobby C. It's his first tonight.
As I was saying last half inning, and Jim kind of likes going into the seventh with a lead, especially when he's got Knee and C and Lyon and Rodney. And usually it's a good thing. It's a good result. They win most of those games.
Well, here is Peralta. Single for 3. Strike 1.
Tom Hallion's had a very generous strike zone on the outer portion of the plate tonight for both teams.
It's lofted in the air to center. There's Granderson coming under it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the stretch here at Comerica Park. Huff, Inge, Laird coming up.
Largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse, caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts. Well, you can pretty much get it all there and get your Tigers gear straight from the source at the Tigers.com shop.
All right, here we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Tigers holding on to their 3-run lead. It'll be Aubrey Huff to start things off, then Brandon Inge and Gerald Laird. Tomo Oka is still out there. 13 Tigers hits. And the first pitch is a strike. Big night for Huff. 2 for 2. 3 RBIs. Aubrey trying to get something started here. The Tigers have not scored since getting a couple of runs in the 4th inning.
Aubrey has slowed the game down today. And that's what you need to do when you struggle a little bit as a hitter. Just kind of slow it down a little bit. Slow everything down. Aubrey also is DHing exclusively here with the Tigers. Whereas he was playing some first base with Baltimore. And a lot of times it's a little bit of an adjustment. You go from playing in the field where you can go out and make a play, and you're not concentrating on bad at bat after bad at bat. It's a big difference for some guys.
Not really too many opportunities to play first base here. Cabrera manning that post. And misses low. Run the count to 3 balls and 1 strike.
So you're saying he's got to get used to it?
I would think so, but I think or thought at this time he might get a game in the outfield or maybe a spell Ainge at third base a couple of times.
He hadn't played anywhere else, has he?
No, not that I can remember. There's another walk, and he's on for the 4th time tonight.
He's had 4 really good at bats today. 4 really good at bats. And yes, the base on balls are good at bats. That means he's watching the baseball.
Here comes Brandon Inge, who homered back in the 3rd. A 2-run shot, his 26th of the year. That means Brandon now has 70 RBIs. Tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Inge now is 1 home run shy of his career high. He's got a month to get there. In 2006, Brandon hit 27 home runs. That was also the year in which he drove in the most runs in his career, 83. No balls, 1 strike. Leadoff man on. Brandon skies one in the air to right. Matt Laporta coming in. 1 gone.
The catcher, Gerald Blair.
This is a good question tonight. One to make you think a little bit.
Well, if you agree that the 2009 Tigers are better than the 06 team, which area do you think have they had their biggest improvements? And I think I would agree with, well,
first of all, you got to agree, I guess.
That's true. If you disagree, please disregard this question. Pitching is winning so far. Final results coming up, Tigers Live. That's a good question.
So they think the pitching this year, when they had Rogers, who won, 19 that year. Bonderman had 15, 16. Verlander had 17.
Robertson was double digits.
Todd Jones, Zamaya, they were getting it done back into the bullpen.
Well, they've split it up between starters and pen.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, what would you pick? Penn's been really good this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tigers Live will have the final results. That's why we ask you.
It's a good question.
There's part of that back end of the bullpen. Bobby C. A 1-2-3 7th. Inside to Gerald Laird.
If it was a left-hander up, or more than likely Eric Wedge would be playing his first baseman, Marte, behind Huff. Huff's not going anywhere. Has a very small lead, and running is not part of his game. But with the right-hander up, no need for Marte to play work off the bag.
Meanwhile, Marte will make the play on that ball. 2 gone.
The shortstop, Adam.
I'll leave it up to Adam Everett. Same 2 teams tomorrow. It'll be Rick Porcello and Aaron Laffey.
Where has the season gone? 32 games remaining.
It's funny when you're in the month of August. Those are the dog days, and it really becomes a grind that month, and you wonder if the season will ever end. But then you get to September, and you get that breath of fresh air. The temperatures cool down a little bit,
especially if you're in the hunt, playing some meaningful games.
And then all of a sudden, the season feels like it's flying by. Minnesota has apparently tied that game with Chicago 1-1.
The White Sox have had very little success at beating Minnesota in that dome.
Really close. Michael Kadire has homered in that game, his 23rd.
They will not have that comfortable dome next year. They'll be playing outside in April.
It'll be interesting to see how that affects their pitching staff.
And their hitters.
They get some early rainouts or snowouts. That's going to mess with your rotation a little bit. Makeup games. Yeah, hitters, no doubt. I would think that's going to have a, I don't know if you want to say dramatic impact, but it will have some impact.
Oh, for sure. Those guys play in some very nice weather in April when a lot of teams are playing outdoors in 30, 35, 40-degree weather.
2-1 on Everett.
But the guys that they have are pretty good players. Mauer and Morneau. They'd be pretty good on the moon, I guess.
Yeah, they would, especially in cold weather. Mauer from Minnesota and Morneau from Canada. They can hit anywhere. How about if they ever got to a World Series in November there? CLE. 3-1 pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, when you start talking about MVP candidates, and here's a list of 5, and that would be in the conversation. Many believe that Mauer would win it if it was given out today. Teixeira with 100 RBIs. Cabrera, lots of total bases. He's hit .330 all year. Jeter, a very good year.
Pulled foul.
I don't know if there's a clear-cut favorite right now, other than Mauer, obviously.
Well, you could probably make the case as well to throw in Kendry Morales in that mix.
Yep, I thought about him yesterday.
Although I don't think he would be at the top, he deserves consideration.
Well, no one even knows about him because they play out west, and their games don't start until 10 o'clock. So there's a lot of people who don't even know about Morales.
But he's top 10 in hitting, and he is 4th in RBIs.
Had a great year.
And again, the 3-2 with the runner going, ball 4. 3rd walk now for Oka. And Carl Willis again picks up the telephone. The telephone has not been his friend tonight. He's been on it all night long, and it started with Carlos Carrasco getting into trouble in the very first inning.
Carl gonna run out of minutes.
I don't think they
charge
you.
Think so?
No, I don't think they charge you. If he was using his cell phone, he'd be burning it up. And here he comes now, wearing the path out to the mound. So Willis makes his way onto the mound, and look who's throwing again. Jensen Lewis.
He's ready.
I hope so. He's just about throwing a full game in the bullpen tonight.
It's a big part of the game for the Indians. With Granderson standing in that batter's box. Granderson's already hit a couple of bullets in this game, for a double, one for a single. Carl Willis still buying some more time. Italians letting him do it.
Yeah, kind of surprising.
A lot of times, I mean, at least the old days, managers used to go out, or pitching coaches, and they would wait for the home plate umpire to come out so they could talk to them about a previous pitch or something like that. But you don't see that very much these days. Not like they used to do.
No, I don't think you ever see it ever, really.
Now they just bark from the dugout.
Exactly. They don't wait for that to happen. Here's Granderson, 2 on, 2 out. We're in the 7th. Tigers lead by 3, 8-5. Swings in the first pitch. Pops it in the air to shallow left. Brantley still coming to retire the side. So the Tigers get a couple of walks, lead 2, and we travel to the 8th, where it's going to be about Bueno, Laporta, and Martel. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire tomorrow evening on Fox Sports Detroit, Fox Sports Detroit HD as well. Here in Laffey, Rick Porcello will hook up in that one. He's got some nice numbers. Porcello has had a very good rookie campaign in the big leagues. There's Luis Valbuena to lead it off in the 8th. Bobby C is back out there, had a 1-2-3 7th. Valbuena thought about it and held back 1 ball and 1 strike. Tigers, by the way, will throw Nate Robertson on Thursday, the day game. Jim Leland said that before the game today. Robertson against Fausto Carmona. So Nate has earned another start. The 1-1 is a hook that misses inside, 2-1. We're hoping for about 85 pitches, maybe stretch out Nate a little bit longer, based on results, of course. Two and 2 on Luis Valbuena. Double, line out, strikeout for Valbuena.
This could very well be Bobby's last hitter, with quite a few right-handers coming up after Valbuena.
Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for C. Jim Leland climbing the stairs, and he'll come out and get Bobby C. Nice job tonight by the Tigers. Left-hander faces 4 batters and gets all of them. So with Laporta due next, here comes Brandon Lyon. Pitching change. We'll be back. Struck out 2 of them. The Tigers still leading 8-5 as we play here in the 8th, and C will hand it over to the right-handed pitching Brandon Lyon.
What a difference the cut fastball has been for Brandon Lyon. And he started throwing that pitch effectively a couple of months ago, and his numbers have been really good since then. 45 strikeouts and 62 innings pitched against 23 walks. The league hitting .213 against him. He's got a curveball. Also a straight fastball to go with that really good cutter that he'll throw anywhere from 87 to 89 miles an hour.
And Matt Laporta, the first man to face him, he has a double in this ball game tonight, and a first pitch fastball away.
Laird also was telling me today that something else that Lyon is doing lately that he wasn't doing at the beginning of the year, he's throwing that cut fastball to the right-handed hitters. Earlier in the season, it was a pitch he just used for the lefties, but not anymore. You could see the movement on that pitch away from Laporta.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Well, good result so far, 1 and 2. Lion C. Rodney out of the back end of the Tigers pen. Pretty solid.
Few have been better.
Futeni has been really good too. 1-2 pitch. Close. 2-2.
Look at the movement on this cutter. That is not a slider. That is a fastball with tremendous movement.
Swing and a miss. If you didn't know what he threw, you'd call that a slider, wouldn't you?
You would. You would.
The first baseman.
We talked about Carrasco, Carlos Carrasco, who started for Cleveland tonight, throws a cut slider, what was Lloyd was telling me before the game. Yeah, but that pitch right there acts just like that pitch that Carrasco is throwing, even more movement with the pitch. But Laird said he just started throwing it to right-handers, and that's when his numbers really started to get better. A lot of times you don't want to throw that cutter to the right-handed hitter, especially for a strike, because that's kind of right into the barrel of the bat. I mean, it starts down the middle, and by the time it ends up outside, most right-handers are diving in that direction anyway.
Tigers pitching tonight with 10 strikeouts. Jackson had 6. Minor picked up 1. C picked up 2, and now Lyon has 1. 2-0 on Andy Marte. Now 3-0.
Well, throw it right down the middle if you can. I doubt Marte's swinging 3 balls, no strikes. Down by 3.
3-1. There's the closer, Fernando Rodney, heating up. Popped up back out of play. Three and 2 on Andy Marte. Here it is. In the air to center. Easy play for Granderson. And that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. We will go to the bottom of the 8th. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Hospitals. Do you have a Beaumont doctor? Here's our Comerica Bank game summary for this one tonight, with the Tigers leading by 3 in the bottom of the 8th. That first inning turned out to be a huge one for the Tigers. 6 hits on 4 runs. Aubrey Huff breaking out tonight. He's had a very good evening. And each team with 6 extra base hits. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, Polanco will be facing a new pitcher. Jensen Lewis is in now for Cleveland. And Placido looks at a ball high.
Jensen averaging almost 8 strikeouts per inning.
2-0. Placido tonight with a homer and a single. Down the middle for strike 1. 2-1 on Polanco. Tigers 3 outs away from their 70th victory of the season. In the air to right center, shallow right center, and Laporta comes on to make the play. 1 out.
The left fielder, Carlos
What's going on at the Metrodome? Minnesota has taken a 2-1 lead over the Chicago White Sox. Here's Carlos Guillen. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Carlos homered in the first inning, went back-to-back with Polanco. His 3rd homer in the last 2 days. Threw that one by him, and the count is 0-2. The Tigers trying to run their record to 9-4 against the Indians this year. They're 4-2 at home, 4-2 on the road against this Cleveland ball club. One ball, 2 strikes on Guillen. He's also walked a couple of times. To go with his home run. Driven to center field. But right there is Sizemore.
Last couple of days, Carlos has been hitting some balls right on the screw.
The first baseman,
It's a good sign. Two outs for Cabrera, looking for his 3rd hit tonight.
Cabrera, a lot like Carlos Guillen. He loves to swing at that first pitch himself. And on many occasions, does a lot of damage with first pitch strikes.
1-0 on Cabrera. Just 1 for 14 in that series against the Tampa Bay Rays, but a good start tonight for this series. 2 singles, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base. Looked like he went. No, he did not. Phil Cuzzi said he hauled up. 2-0. Fly ball hit a ton to right center field. Sizemore on the run. So is Laporta. Who wants it? Both of them do, but Sizemore will catch it. So the Tigers go 1-2-3 on 3 fly ball outs. 9th inning coming up. Shopik, Brantley, and Sizemore their last chance. would be Ryan Rayburn. New pitcher is Fernando Rodney.
29 of 30 in the most important column, and that would be the saves and save opportunities for Fernando. 54 strikeouts in 57 2/3 innings. He's walked 27, and he comes in with a respectable earned run average and that swing and miss changeup. That Bugs Bunny changeup.
Well, we've got a pinch hitter to start things off here in the 9th inning.
Leading off the ninth
Shopik
inning
will not bat. Jamie Carroll has picked up a bat. He'll pinch hit.
You remember Bugs Bunny's changeup, didn't you?
Yeah, you'd swing at it about 5 or 6 times.
And still wouldn't be there
before it finally hit the glove. That's how slow his changeup was. So Fernando goes to work, and the first pitch is a fastball down low to Jamie Carroll, the pinch hitter.
I think the biggest adjustment Rodney made was mechanical with his body. And so many times last year when Rodney would throw fastballs or changeups, he would violently fall off the mound over toward the first base side. But from the very first game of the year, Rick Knapp kind of cleaned that up. And Rodney gets a good look at home plate. Therefore, he's thrown a lot more strikes this year as a closer.
There's the strike called, 1-2. Well, Fernando came into this season with 33 career saves. If he gets one tonight, that'll be his 30th of this year alone. And again, he's missed on only one opportunity.
And the Tigers won that game.
Now a 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So while it may never be clean or always clean, typically he'll get the job done. Two pitch. Change up. Got him. Strike 3 in the outside corner. Who painted that thing? Carroll is toast.
And Hallion's been giving this pitch all day long. That same pitch. He's been consistent. And Rodney told me also, depending on the pressure points of the fingers that he puts on the baseball, he can make that ball dance away from the right-handers or dance away from the left-handers. And so he can make that changeup move as well.
Here's Michael Brantley. Fastball rides inside, 1-0. Brantley picked up his first big league hit, a single off Jackson in the 5th. And that's inside again. 2 balls, no strikes.
He overthrew that changeup.
Two and 1. Tigers at one point led 8-1, and then Cleveland came storming back to make it 8-5, but the bullpen has thrown up zeros the last 2 innings. Fastball missing inside, run it to 3-1 on Brantley.
And that's not a straight fastball. That's a fastball in the mid-90s with some movement.
Sizemore waiting his turn on deck. There's a strike, 3-2. And Brantley.
That's impressive. And Rodney can throw that changeup when he wants to for a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike with a mid-90s fastball. Throws a changeup.
3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Everett charging, has to hurry. Pulled him off, safe. A 1-out base runner.
The center fielder, Grady Sizemore.
That speed of Brantley we talked about.
Yeah, do or die play for Everett. And coming in, charging that ball, and once he got it on its way, he had to rush. He dropped that arm angle, and that kind of pulled Cabrera off the bag. Cabrera tried to get him in a swipe tag variety as he went by, but yeah, the youngster Brantley a little too fast. Good call by Phil Cousins.
So here is Sizemore. They need another base runner to bring the tying run to the plate, and a strike on Brady. One and one. Brady has never had a hit against Rodney. 0 for 7. Always been hit once. Fastball away. 2-1 on Sizemore. Cabrera waiting on deck. Now it's 3-1. There's Cabrera. Straight back where he had a rip. 3-2. Crowd getting back into it now. 24,225 in attendance here tonight. Trying to help Rodney out. 3-2 pitch is on the ground to the shortstop. Everett will throw to first for the out. Taking second on the play, Brantley.
The shortstop has Cabrera.
And what is Comcast telling us about the velocity ranges of Rodney in this ball game since he's been in? 98 with the fastball, 84 with the changeup. That last play was a heads-up play by Everett, knowing that Polanco was playing over in the hole with the left-handed swinging Sizemore up. He got that ball and quickly flipped it over to first. Smart heads-up play by Adam.
Their last chance now is Asdrubal Cabrera. Again on the gun from Rodney. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4 for 8. Not bad against Rodney Cabrera.
Good contact here.
2-1. Out of play. Now it's 2-2. Rodney needs 1 more strike to put this one in the victory column for the Tigers. It would be their 70th win of the season. 2-2 on Asdrubal Cabrera. Finding an alternate use for the lunch boxes tonight. Here's the 2-2. Inside and high. 3-2. Rodney again at 98 miles an hour. So it's full.
And you don't want to walk Rodney because you don't want to see Sensu Chu. He's got power. And it's late. Do not want to see him.
Cabrera waits on a 3-2 pitch. Rodney ready. Right back up the middle. Here comes Everett. In time for the out, and the Tigers win. Fernando Rodney gets his 30th save. The Tigers, after racing out to a big lead, hold on to win this one, and a win's a win. And the Mohawk, the victory Mohawk tonight. Big night for Aubrey Huff, who busted out of it